Hello everyone, welcome back to the 14th episode in our Hermitpack series, and this one is being recorded right off the back of the last one, and I hope in this one to show you my amazing plan for our base and for how we're going to build farms and projects in the future. I'm really excited. It's going to require a lot of research and time, so I figured let's just start this episode off with me showing you what is in our storage system. Can you see it? Diamonds is no longer the thing that we have the most of. We've now got these other items here, and that's because I've gone to the old chunks at the old base where the house was and taken our quantum storage units and brought them over here and hooked them all up. So up the top here are the quantum storage units, and I've decided this looks ugly, it doesn't work. Like having things behind pillars that are there, you know, sort of obscuring that area, making it so it's out of access, it's just a little bit silly, you know. So over here you'll see we've got witch hats. Two different types. We've got some potions, and we should see, hopefully, a lot of redstone because I've been off the server for about an hour or two. That looks promising. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. That is much more than when I left off. I've got to say, though, going pretty slow is the witch farm. This over here is what controls the witch farm. So if I power that, we'll turn it off. And there's a bit of redstone next to it because I couldn't figure out if it was on or off. So anyway, round the back here, what we've done is added in some ender chests at the top. They are color coded. I'm not missing one. I accidentally gave it the same code as another one. So here's something interesting. I emptied out this chest before I logged off, and now it has items in it. And you can see some of the items for the diamond farm are coming through this. So this is the zombie pigman farm that we have. However, it's turned off, but for some reason mobs keep spawning, well obviously pigmen, and it means that we keep getting a little bit of gold and zombie heads, and I actually have a stack of zombie heads because it's been running around the clock while we've been doing other things on the server. It is really, really odd. So then we have the witch farm, which for some reason has rotted flesh. This one is the silverfish farm, which for some reason has witch farm drops in it. What is going on here? And have I misconfigured this thing? Can I click on the panel? Insert. It's supposed to be on extract. Well, that makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? And there we go. The items are being dragged out of the system. And at the end there's another farm. I think that's the blaze one. 3 yellow is for blaze. So then we have all of these Ender IO conduits, and they've all got item filters on them. And then behind them we have our external storage to bring it into the, I was about to say AE system. It's called refined storage. And I'll get a lot of comments about this because I never really liked AE, or should I say AE2. Refined storage is far more easier to use than AE2, so I'm okay with using this one. Anyway, I really don't like how these quantum storage units look up here, and I've decided that we will have a third underground area that's going to go down here. There will be some glass so we can peer down into it, and it's basically going to be a storage area. Now what I'm going to do is press F3 and G because I didn't chunk align my base, which is a little bit silly, and these outside areas, I think some of them are very close to going outside chunks, and I want to load the smallest amount of chunks possible, so I don't want any stuff going back into this area, which is what might happen if we end up with tons of storage, although looking at this system, kind of looks like it would fit just inside these chunks, which is good. But not these ones over here, so anything that's on this side has a very limited amount of space to be loaded. Like I really don't want to load lots of chunks and cause problems on the server for other people. So by moving our storage system down there, we just move things away from where they might cause headaches later on. So we'll be opening up the floor and moving those things at some point. And also this right here, by the way, it doesn't really follow function is what I've been thinking. You walk into the base this way, you should go straight down into the middle of that room. So this is going to go over here, and we're going to put 2 staircases on either side. I believe this is one of those moments where you say form follows function, and you know, you walk in from this side, you go straight down to the area down below. So another place that we come in from is up here. So when I'm flying back to my base, sometimes I'm using my teleport wand or I'm up in the sky. I just like to drop down here, and now I can go all the way straight to this bit, which is pretty cool. So it opens up the room behind us, and I think what I'd like to do here is have another panel like this, but have all of our capacitor banks over there. In fact, when I look over there, you can see it's a multi-block thing. The little black lines appear, and that's because I've added a few more down below, and it looks like it's still filling up, which is kind of interesting because at the pace it's filling up at, it should have done that already. So something has sucked some energy out of the system, and I don't know what. But anyway, this is now how we get to the back area through this. I'm thinking we'll make some sort of piston door, although there's not a lot of room for redstone, so I'm hoping to find some magic mods to allow us to walk through here. Maybe some sort of not invisible blocks, but like blocks that you can just walk through that look the same as the other ones. That would be pretty cool. And yeah, that's sort of my plan, just to focus on this bit next. And now there is an army of small magma cubes heading in that direction, ignoring me. That's unusual. Are they looking at me now? They've got like a mind of their own. They want to go somewhere. Huh. Oh, and I've fallen through there. Yeah, before working on this, I just noticed that there were columns of Midori down here which didn't have top bits, so I added some in there, and I thought, yeah, that actually looks pretty good. We could do the same thing on the opposite side, and then in the middle we had that sort of alternative pillar, which we still have on that side. Don't think it looks as good, however, that leaves a noticeable gap, so I feel like that there should be something here. Now, are you looking at me? I think they're looking at me now. Is Jusassin in this? Oh, it's Jusassin! Look at him, being sneaky. Alright, that makes sense now. There's a lot of these here. Yeah, anyway, at some point I want to come up with like a logo or an emblem, and maybe this would be the perfect place to put it. So here's our storage on this side over here. You can actually upgrade this to a graphical display, which is really cool. However, it won't have much to show us until we hook this up. So we're going to have a ring of conduits going around the outside here, connecting it all up down at the bottom where these are, and then hopefully they'll connect with other machines that need power. That we're going to put into these walls on the side. But I was just looking at it and I was thinking we could actually have these Midori pillars come down here, and the capacitor banks could actually just be these strips like that, and then we could have some more machines here if we need them, and just change the size of that multi-block structure. The problem is it's probably going to look weird in comparison to that side because it's not symmetrical, but then again, why does it need to be? So I'm just going to see how it goes. We don't really need to make a decision at this moment. This little setup here works wonders, by the way, just dragging things out of there, chucking them into machines. I do things in bulk now. We've got so much stuff building up here. It makes life a lot easier. And I've just finished making a wireless charger. This will apparently charge items in nearby players' inventories. That sounds extremely cool. I want to see what it can work with. Now, I'm not sure if it will work next to a capacitor bank. However, if we put it next to a conduit like this, it will now be receiving power. It looks like it doesn't have an interface. And I'm wondering what it is it's going to charge, because this uses RF, right? I think that's RF, or at least the machine that charges it used RF to give it energy. In fact, it's called energy, isn't it? So it's not RF. But then again, the building wand is charging. That's cool. So what happens when I put that somewhere else? Is it going to pick like the thirst thing or only things in the hotbar? That's interesting. What if we put two of them in there? Are they both going to charge? Or is it the one that appears first? Right, I reckon it's like a priority thing, because now that one's going. But when we... it is, look, wherever it is in the inventory, it's going to find the first slot to charge and charge it up. And boy, that's doing a good job. That's going up fast. Excellent. Now, my next curiosity, I guess, and I don't know how far the range of that thing is, but it's still going right now, is to chuck these on the floor and see if it's going to hit up this inventory. It doesn't look like it is. Now, that would be exceptional if it could. However, I guess after you've been using one of these for a while, you'll come back into the base and it'll start to get charged. It's doing that one fast as well. Excellent. So that is an amazing block to have lying around. We need to find a proper place to put that. Looks like we got an unwelcome guest down below. You are going to get wrecked right now. Hi. See you later. There's a few more of them spawning down here, which isn't great. But I can show you what I want to show you, which is that we cleared out this entire space. And now it's like one big room. And instead of having torches, I've got some light sources up here. And I was thinking, do you know what? Again, form, following, function. I forget that quote already. I said it earlier. You know what I said. We could just drag these down like here. And I'm thinking that this area could be aesthetic as well. We can make it look good. I mean, why not? And it would actually be really quite easy to do because we've got the swapping one. So I can go and replace these walls with something that look a lot nicer. Dude, my base is on the fritz. Scouter is over here checking it out. And frames are just crashing. Yeah, all the power got sucked out of my system, and I've been managed to deduce it to this thing right here, which seems to eat up power. And isn't it turned off? Oh, maybe Scouter was playing around with it, and this is nuts. So I turned off the system so it could charge up with power, and then when I turn it back on, it just goes down like that. But now, like, I don't even know what's going on now. It's blinking like crazy. Something has gone horribly wrong. Here is why the pigman farm generates gold, because it is set to always active. It had to be something like that, didn't it? So now it's been turned off. Look at the price of that, 8,000 RF per tick. We're investigating the problems, and it turns out all of my farms are using an insane amount of energy. So this one used 8,000 per tick, now it's using 800. Same for the witch farm, the diamond farm up the top took about 1,600 per tick. And this may be the cause of the problem. My question then is, how on earth was this stuff running for so long? We generate about 5,000 to 6,000 per tick from the solar power. Like, where did it get all of this energy from, and how was it stable? It's so odd. But anyway, these farms are now using a lot less, and this one's been turned off. So distractions, and we've solved it now. We've got a positive charge on this end. We have a positive charge on this one as well. The problem is really odd, because when I moved this thing from one side to the other, that's when everything went wrong, right? And it turns out that somehow this here got clicked. I can only think that maybe I misclicked it when pressing tabs, and this thing was basically turned off, which is bizarre. But when we have that on the opposite side of the room, it means that this gets a positive charge, but the other one gets a negative charge, and then that causes the RS system to go on the fritz. So I've had a bit of a vision, that is to just fill up these walls with sandstone bricks. How beautiful, how predictable. We'll probably make that look a little bit more interesting one day, but it can be plain because this is the out of sight area. And yes, I'm also filling in blocks that are out of sight below, and I'm not really too bothered about it because we've got tons of this stuff and it's nice and easy to do. But this sandstone will go all the way to the top, so there'll be no sand, and that'll be the look for this area. But what I want to do with the ground here, as I said, I've had a bit of a vision, is to perhaps have it sort of open and have the cables running through and attaching to all of the storage chests. So you would see all of these cables running around, and you get a glimpse of that from above this window here. So that could be interesting, but also you'll notice that this block has been centered in the room. This is kind of what gave me the idea for it. So, oh, yep, I just teleported myself into that. That makes a lot of sense. And now I've just placed a block alongside it. It doesn't have a GUI. That is our wireless charger, so now it's in the very center of the base. And it also gave me the idea to put the wireless transmitter down here. However, I don't think this can go in the same spot as these energy conduits. The answer is no, no it cannot. Well, what I was hoping to do was to put a wireless transmitter somewhere here directly in the middle as well, so it's centralized, but those two things are going to conflict with each other, so I'm going to need to find a way to do that doesn't create that problem. And I noticed that it was nighttime. Our capacitor banks are full over there, and this thing is now working as intended, because when I was trying to figure out the problem, this thing would always be empty. So now it gives us a capacity of 25 million, which is for us to use when it's nighttime. And I've also put my bed over here as well. Anyway, we're going to be looking at something next, which is going to be fundamental for us moving onwards in this series, and I've crafted some of the things right here. All of this is relatively cheap. But then I've noticed this, because I've just logged back in. We have a gift from the Biffa Trade Network, a gold block! How amazing is that? Oh, 9 ingots of gold. Absolutely brilliant. No, I'm joking. This chest right here is probably what it's all about. We've got the BTN right here. Let's have a little read. Welcome to the Biffa Trade Network. Please accept my gift of everything you need to begin trading on the server. Over the page, I will run through the few easy steps to get up and trading. This is probably not what I want to do right now, and probably not what I want to do on camera. I will just do this off camera in a second. What I do want to say is I'm probably not going to participate in this trading system too much. I've been watching Biffa's videos, so I know what he's done. He's farmed so many materials that loads and loads of them are now up for trade, and using these mailboxes you can sort of trade wirelessly with other players on the server. So there may be occasions where I trade one or two things, but I don't really want to get into trading because I want to... Well, that was unexpected and then it disappeared. I would like to make my own way through the tech tree of this game and figure out how to get all of the materials. So if there's something that I've already farmed and that I've happened to have run out of, then I might participate in a little bit of trading, like redstone, because at the moment we're farming redstone. Let's say we use all of that, then I've just got to go and mine it manually, right, while the next batch gets farmed. So maybe we'll trade on rare occasions. Classic X, classic Asuma, talking about how we're not going to use this trading. I look through the book and I think, oh, there's a trade I'd like. You know, there's something in this game that I know how to get, but I don't really enjoy mining it, which is obsidian. Very slow and time consuming, and since we're not farming it yet, I don't mind actually trading some of it when I need it. So Biffa's going to trade 64 obsidian for 64 iron. We click use, and then this gets sent to this letter down here, although it says blank at the moment. Can we right click on that? There you go, excellent. And then we put it into this system. It says letter is not sufficiently stamped, so I've misunderstood this bit. We have to put a stamp on the side. Is 1 good enough? There was something over here on the left. There we go, 1 is good enough. So we put a stamp on our letter, and trade station demand. The trade station demands more. More of what? Oh. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the iron inside of it. Ah, now the stamp's gone up again. Right, so 2 stamps for a stack of iron ingots in there. Does that satisfy you? I believe it does. Oh, and Biffa's logging off right as I do the trade. Apparently this is instantaneous, though. So we've got something up in the top left of our screen. We get a letter back from Biffa automatically. Wow, that's super fast. And look at that, we've got our obsidian. Excellent. That is really, really cool. Awesome. Now this has turned back into... No, it's turned into like an opened letter. Very cool stuff. Right, this thing is going to receive solar power. That's perfect. I'm going to put down some energy conduits so we can power these blocks, and I'm going to show you how things here work. So we start off with a dialing device, a matter transmitter, and matter receiver. A lot of this stuff revolves around ender pearls, as you'll see right here. Nice and easy to make though, which is cool. And we're going to put down all 3 of these just side by side for now. For sake of demonstration, and you can see that they all connect up to the system because they're all taking a charge of RF, which is pretty cool. Now this stuff is really quite simple to use. It just takes a little bit of reading to do. So let's call this one X test, just because we're doing tests at the moment, and this one will be X test 2. I'm so creative with these names, aren't I? Amazing. Now we can come over to our dialing device, and it's over here that we... Oh, look, we can see everyone else who's using the system. We can select that, and then we can select this one as well, and we can click dial. Now, what we've done is we've connected these 2 things together, and we get this beam right here. Another thing you can do, by the way, is put a block or 2 on top of this. Like, if you stand inside that beam, it will teleport you to the other place. Does it work up here? No, but it does work with a block above it. And you can see that we have just been teleported over here. How cool was that? It made some fancy sounds, and this is how we're going to get around our base. Now, an important thing to realize here is that it requires a constant supply of energy, and there's actually something else that you can use as well. This destination analyzer, I believe, will let you know if this is missing when it's near one of those. So if I break this, this should then change the color of its beam. Which it didn't do. It did. Maybe it needs to be directly next to it. I could have made a boo-boo there. Right. There you go. So now it's going to tell you, actually, there's nowhere to go to at the moment. And when you step in there, something is wrong with the destination. When we put this back down, it's in a different position. But I think that thing has kept its name. And possibly... There you go. So we can instantly just pick these up and put them down in new locations. If they have power, then we teleport there. And this is how we're going to get around our base. Now, the really cool thing that I want to show you is... Well, actually, let's just jump into this beam. Aha! Ooh, lag spike. There you go. It works cross-dimensional. So we can use this to teleport to wherever we place that block. In any dimension, so getting to the end can be super simple, and getting to the nether is super simple as well. However, this is in a loaded chunk. In fact, it's 2 loaded chunks because it's right on the border, and I didn't want anything to mess up. And now we're getting shot at by a filthy blaze. Get out of here, man. I'm trying to record a video. Jeez, so rude. Those blazes, they never give up, do they? Anyway, this is not what we're going to use it for. I don't know if we're going to have time to do what I want to do for the next step, so I'm going to go do some more research and see what's possible. Well, it turns out the next step in my master plan will take me a long time to do, so we are going to focus, I think, on getting a path between this building and our tower done this episode, as well as the storage system down below our little crafting area. But this thing has been configured with our spawn base, and I was just doing some investigating. It turns out that this is a loaded chunk here. So what we're going to do is temporarily unclaim it so it's not loaded, and we're then going to use this. So this is going to take us back to spawn because we've got 2 of these set up now. Bam, there we go. And here's where it might have a little bit of trouble because this here is chunk loaded. We've got farms in this area and my plan is to eventually move them out of here so we don't leave this loaded all the time. But if we go back this way, oh look at that, it loads the chunk for us. Interesting. Well, I'm going to just load those back up anyway, but here's what I'm thinking. We should probably have a proper place to put these. This is kind of temporary for now. Maybe a little building or something that you can walk up to that identifies itself as a teleporter. I did look at putting it in this space, but I really couldn't find a spot that sort of made sense. So I think outside of this building is where it'll be. I've got a small observation to make here. Ender IO items fall directly downwards. Look, they're all in a straight line. Like vanilla items will pop off and fly up in all different directions. These ones just go straight down. I noticed that when I was removing this pipe, because we're going to power this thing, by the way, with a dimensional transceiver. So that thing is just going to wirelessly recharge whatever is in our inventory. So this is my vision for this downstairs area where we have all of our storage. I've slowly started moving some of it. We have all of the drops from our farms over here. And I figured that's what we'd have in this main bit. We'd have a whole bunch on this side, a whole bunch on that side over there, and then maybe some disk drives and stuff like that around the middle. But the idea is that it's very industrial down here, and I was thinking about putting some lava underneath this glass, but actually I kind of like just having the stone as it is, so that will probably stay. And let me show you how we've done this. So we have our cables going underneath. I think I might try and make this more discreet discreet somehow, and then they can come up. So over here we have that thing wirelessly powered. Why is that now? Oh, that's really odd. This has happened a couple of times actually, where it's just all of a sudden changed one of its settings. And then below it we have the wireless transmitter, so the cable comes up from down below, and that's how this stuff over here works, because it's going across there. So if we were to put in glass at the front, you'd see how it looks, just like that. So there's a load of inserters pointing upwards. Now these things on top look pretty ugly, and I think what I actually want to do is put them below where the glass is, and then we've also somehow got to connect the blaze rods to this, because they work slightly different. If I put this thing here, look at that, it's got the wrong things inside of it. So currently, I thought it had an item filter on it. It's on insert mode, and if I put that, well actually that's what it would be doing, right? But the other thing isn't extracting. This is inserting only, so we need a completely separate connection for this. So what I'm thinking is that if these go down below, then this one can be above, and that can be the connection for our blaze rods. Not terribly interesting stuff, but I've just been rearranging things here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go with this, because a while back I started to develop a real vision, and I just wanted to play and not stop playing on here, and I had to do other things, make other videos, and then when I came back on today, I just sort of felt a little bit flat on what I was doing. So I'm not sure if I like that 100%, but it's definitely got a cool vibe when you look down there and you see all that industrial stuff going on. So with that filled up with storage, that's probably going to look pretty cool. By the way, those item frames that you saw are from Tinker's Construct, very simple to make. I thought I'd use those in the hopes that they won't produce as much lag as the vanilla ones do. There's also some cork ones here as well. I wonder if they've been optimized. The answer is though that I don't know. And out the front here I never made any sort of building for this, because once again sort of run out of steam a little bit after I had to stop playing. It's quite frustrating because there's so much to do. When you start to get a real vision of what you're doing in this game, then you can just play for hours. And then you have to log off and you come back on and it's not quite the same next time, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is our path leading over to where we're going to have our bridge, and there's actually a wood material that I want to introduce into our building palette. It's something we're going to decorate the desert with, and I don't know how to get it at the moment. I've been struggling to understand and learn how one of the mods work in order to get this type of wood, so we're just going to leave that alone for now, but the path is in place. I really like this style. The feedback on the style from the last episode we did that was really good as well. But that's kind of where we're at right now. I wanted to do a little bit more, but I just sort of ran out of steam. So anyway, that's it from me this episode. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like as always. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.